O Mother Nui, stretch high above this valley. Your starry body is our glory. Then see the hawk of yonder Rahur quit, his fiery splendor, oh so mighty. He brings a light for all our weary souls. He makes the broken spirit whole.
Welcome to today's deep dive. So today we are exploring a really fascinating, well, honestly, a completely bizarre book from 2001.
Yeah, Lon Milo Duquette's The Chicken Qabalah.
Right. And our mission today is to basically figure out how this self-proclaimed dilettante's guide uses stand-up comedy and sheer absurdity to teach one of the most notoriously complex subjects on Earth.
The Western Hermetic Qabalah, I mean, the ultimate secrets of the universe aren't handed down here by some solemn high priest, you know?
No, not at all. They come from a fictional, completely burnt-out rabbi who claims he learned the tree of life from a talking baboon.
Right, a talking baboon in the desert while he was chasing a runaway chicken. It is a massive spiritual curveball right from the jump.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
But to understand the baboon, you sort of have to look at the problem traditional occult texts present. Like, they demand this intense encyclopedic memorization, right?
Oh, absolutely. Memorizing Hebrew linguistics, abstract cosmology, it's extremely dry and alienating for a lot of people.
So Duquette tackles this using NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, to create these bizarre memory hooks. Okay, let's unpack this.
Go for it.
To teach the Hebrew letter lamad, he doesn't just, show the stroke order. He describes a snake that swallowed a brick and is having second thoughts.
It is such a vivid, hilarious image.
Right. It's like using a ridiculous acronym to pass a stressful college exam, except here you're applying it to mapping the actual architecture of the cosmos.
What's fascinating here is the psychological mechanics behind that humor. Making the imagery so ridiculous actively bypasses what psychologists and magicians call the psychic censor.
Which is basically your internal critic.
Exactly. It's the filter in your brain that blocks out strange or intimidating information based on the fear of, doing it wrong. Humor just completely strips away that heavy religious dogma.
So the student drops their intellectual defenses just to laugh and inadvertently retains all this incredibly dense information.
Yeah, they learn it without even realizing they're taking notes.
And once those intellectual insecurities are disarmed, the text drops its really heavy philosophical payload, which are the 10 command rants.
Which were supposedly written after our fictional rabbi had a severe emotional breakdown at a New York deli, of all places.
Right, naturally. And they introduced this concept of ontological nihilism, starting with the claim that the really popular spiritual idea of all is one is actually a total lie.
Yeah, the text argues that calling the universe one implies a singular measurable thing. But if the divine is truly infinite, it can't be a bounded thing at all.
Right. It must be zero, or basically nothing.
Precisely. And that leads to what the book calls the epistemological defect. It says human brains only perceive time, space, and individual objects because our neurological hardware is just fundamentally broken.
Because we physically cannot process infinite nothingness, so we hallucinate boundaries instead. But here's where it gets really interesting. That raises a massive contradiction, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure.
If our perception is already a defective hallucination, why does the book demand that students actively abuse their minds with complex Kabbalistic cryptographic games? Like, why intentionally break a broken machine?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that deliberate mental overload is actually the mechanism of enlightenment here.
Wait, really? Just overwhelming the system?
Yes, exactly. Forcing your defective brain to juggle impossible multidimensional geometries and linguistic math short-circuits its linear logic.
So the ego just collapses under the sheer weight of the paradox.
Right. And when that perceptual apparatus temporarily breaks down, the practitioner stops hallucinating boundaries. They can finally glimpse the true, interconnected, holographic universe.
That is wild. But as you might expect, telling people to intentionally break their minds while mocking ancient sacred texts predictably caused a massive rift in the mystical community.
Definitely. Modern Western magicians frequently herald this book as a masterclass in pedagogy. They claim it finally makes the really intimidating Hermetic canon click into place.
While Orthodox traditionalists fired back, calling it one-star philosophic poppycock, they specifically attack that all-is-nothing concept as the reification of zero.
Right, essentially accusing Duquette of treating nothingness as if it were a tangible, independent object you can actually interact with.
And they argue that logical fallacy drastically cheapens the spiritual gravity of the divine architecture. So the book remains deeply polarizing.
Very much so. But, we aren't here to declare a winner in that theological debate. We just want to impartially present what the text says.
Right, we're totally neutral on that. The real takeaway is how the text bridges high-minded mysticism with the pragmatic realities of human cognition.
Yeah, it's super practical at its core.
So think about the most intimidating subjects in your own life. The dense data, the complex schools you have to learn, taking yourself a little less seriously and allowing yourself to laugh at the absurdity of the learning curve might just be the fastest way to bypass your own psychic censor.
Absolutely, and that humor prepares you for the ultimate shift in perspective, which the book illustrates beautifully through the tarot court cards. It outlines this dreamer hierarchy.
Well, yeah, I love this part.
The tarot basically portrays reality as nested levels of consciousness. So your physical, everyday self is just the lowest princess.
A dreamer trapped inside the dream of a higher self.
Exactly, which is inside the dream of an even higher self, just waiting to be woken up with a kiss.
So to leave you with a provocative thought, if you are just a projection inside a nested dream who is actually dreaming you right now,